I don't know. And, the thing is that, of course, we know that, investigations are taking place. We did see DCI boss Mohammed Amin there. Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat was there. Douglas Kanja at some point. The thing is that they're trying to find out what happened. But also, we know that and I don't want to call them famous, but I want to know that notable school fires that took place, that there were certain recommendations thereafter to ensure that certain things then happened in a setting, especially in the dormitories. And there's certain things that we talk about today, and that there shouldn't, those grills, you don't need them on windows. No. If there was overcrowding, in terms of a door locking, you should not be able to only lock a dorm door from the outside. Many things like this that we then unfortunately look over. And it is not a time to start pointing fingers of blame. That it's not the time for that. But we cannot run away from the reality that perhaps certain things could have been done to ensure that such a catastrophe, at least the severity of it, would have been reduced. Yeah, I think just to talk about that, because it's a fire incident, we need to also start asking ourselves in schools, especially boarding schools, or rather just in schools, when is the last time a fire drill ever happened? Do children know what to do in case of an emergency? Yeah. In these buildings that we are setting up that are 2-3 stories going up, do we have emergency exits for children?
And do they know?
Do they know how to use them? Do they know how to access these doors for them to go outside? Because I gave an example yesterday. If you pass outside Stario Boys, you will see on those stories there is an stairs that lead from behind those buildings, So in case of an emergency, there is clearly an exit way for the students. Are these the standards that we are overlooking in setting up these institutions and these buildings?
I think it's unfortunate that something of this nature has to happen, and that then will serve as a reminder for everybody else. And like I said, call it what you may, but one of the things that Wilson Sossion talks about all the time is the quality assurance, whether it is in teaching or whether it is in amenities, and we keep saying, come on guys, where are we checking things like this? And I know when something like this happens is then we all then become the moral police, and then we say, you should have, shouldn't have. I know, but it still does not. It still serves an opportunity to for a reminder in terms of, come on, not just government, but the folks in the institutions. Yeah. Setting up these things. And some of the things that came up on Chatter yesterday was, why can't parents see the dorms?
Yeah.
Every time, and I thought about that, I was like, oh snap, wait a minute, it's true. Why are parents not allowed to see where their children sleep?
You know why?
Why?
Because most of the time, dormitories are not the most sanitary places. And a parent would not, institutions would not want to show parents that side of the school.
And then there's a problem then.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
There is a problem.
Yeah. And so a lot of things come out.
Yeah.
And until today, and Russia.
And Russia. Still under investigation.
Still under investigation.
Under investigation, yeah.
3 years later, we've not heard anything about that. Yeah. But this is the same, the nature is similar in terms of what happened. And here we are still with another one. I mean, my God, in times like this, again, we will not play the moral police, but that it serves as a reminder that, the basic mundane things that we think, oh, well, it really doesn't matter. When a tragedy like this happens, then the basic mundane things matter.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the oldest incident in Kenya was St. Kizito in 1991, and the latest was yesterday. And all these incidences have come up with reports. Some have ended up in court, e.g. the Moi Girls situation. With all these reports, what are we doing with them? Is it just another Kenyan story of reports spending time on shelves, gathering dust, and there is zero implementation?
And people have died.
It's a heavy
the heavy thoughts that especially when we have death and injury, and then in addition to that, more death. May God come down, because it's not easy to deal with.
It's not.
And the skies are looking pretty grey this morning. But it's our hope that even through this, there can be a sliver of hope, I mean, I just cannot imagine what families are going through at this time, and our thoughts are with them, and that somewhere in this chaos, somehow, there will be even an iota of an opportunity to build again. I can't. It's impossible to imagine how you start.
Yeah.
But starting again is not impossible. That's God. That's the truth. And so our hearts are with them. And yeah, you're right, that we can all do better.
Yeah.
We can. And so on this 29th day of March, I beg your pardon, of May, it's interesting that I just saw something also that the last fire that happened also happened on the day of the National Prayer Breakfast. So we woke up to that reality as well. So and I'm going to ask that question again. What if we actually prayed? What if we actually prayed and meant it? Can you imagine what would actually come out of that? We have conversations this morning on the Situation Room, and we will not shy back from talking about these things that matter. So, good morning once again. Ndu and Dennis here with you this morning. If he is here, he's just getting into it. Karibuni sana, everybody, as we get into it. Our live streams are indeed up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and we see you creeping into the room this morning. So karibu sana, our audience on KTN, thank you for joining us that way. And for everybody who tunes into radio around the country, the region, and the world, we will comfort the afflicted, and we will afflict the comfortable. These are the conversations that we'll have. And let's get into some of what those will be today. So we're going to start off our conversation at 7 o'clock. We should have had him on Monday, but I beg your pardon, on Wednesday, but he'll be here this morning. Wakili. Okay, so our conversations today, we will talk at 8 o'clock with former Senator Gloria Orwoba. National prayers amidst deaths of students. Where should it go? We'll have this conversation at 8 and we'll talk about it, and we'll talk about it properly. All right? 7 o'clock, we're probably going to have a conversation with you guys today, and we're going to ask, and the questions are coming up, is it time to start fading out boarding schools? Because is it something else that has come up as a result of this conversation? So we'll get into that just a little bit. We'll come and talk with you around that at 7 o'clock. Gloria Woba joins us then at 8 o'clock today. And our conversation this morning, then at 9 o'clock, will be with Ansel Minor, who is a founder of the Africa Consumer Advocacy Foundation, and Dr. Karaoke Michael, Secretary General of the Harm Reduction Society of Kenya. World Tobacco Day 2026 is our conversation for 9 a.m. It's our Healthy Friday conversation today. Place of science in tobacco control. There apparently is a science behind it, and we're going to be looking into that today. All right, so that's it. We're gonna talk boarding school at 7.
Yeah.
And we're going to then talk, this tragedy and national prayers at 8. And then we'll look into tobacco at 9. That's what it looks like this morning. Karibuni sana as we get into it today. All right.
Yep.
Where are we? Gabo.
Still Gabo. Our proverb, simple but deep. However black a cow is, the milk is always white.
However
black a cow is, the milk is always white.
Don't judge a book by its cover, man. As you see me like this, don't think I'm just gentle. I can be mad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm joking. But yeah, don't judge a book by its cover, or that if something is to be, that is how it is. And you look at something and don't expect that something good can come out of it.
Yeah.
Something good can come out of it. That is the constant. That's the color.
Yeah. I think I would also look at it in terms of you reap exactly what you sow. Don't expect to plant mangoes and reap bananas. No. A cow is a cow. A cow produces milk.
Exactly.
Never expect that a cow...
In fact, this is a nice thing about the human mind. That when somebody else starts to talk, then you can change your opinion. If you see this cow, no matter if it is grey, black, blue, whatever, what will come out of it is white milk.
White milk.
So don't expect something else to come out of something that's dead from the beginning.
Yes.
Well, however it looks, that is what is going to come out of it.
True.
So don't look at a cow and think that it's going to produce oranges.
No. It's never, ever going to happen. Yeah. Don't expect that a white cow will give you water.
Yeah.
Never. Ni hayo tu kwa sasa.
Okay. That's true. So it'll be interesting to see what folks have to say about that as we get into it today. So let's say good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in every morning as you do. And I know that sometimes things are heavy, but we're going to talk about these things anyway. And yikes, at some point, we're also going to look at the fact that the Katiba Institute has gone to court. And they did that really quickly yesterday under a certificate of urgency. And they said that, first of all, we are going to stop this purported thing of Ebola patients being quarantined coming into Kenya. We saw PS Ouma Oluga say a number of interesting things yesterday, as we did see PS Muthoni say a number of more interesting things yesterday. Whether they made sense to you or not.
Kenyans were equally saying a lot of
many interesting things yesterday. It'll be interesting to see how the courts pronounce themselves. They'll probably do that because we know certificate of urgency. We'll probably see an answer about that today. But this one, Kenyans are not taking it lying down, sitting, standing, jumping, anyhow. They're not taking it at all. And they're saying that surely. And it's interesting because even anybody who would normally support something like this have been extremely silent.
Yeah.
So I was saying, it doesn't matter what side you're on. Such a thing doesn't make sense. So let's see what it will look like. But Kenyans have said, what? Absolutely not. That's where they are. Okay, so let's say good morning to you as we get into it this morning. Thank you for tuning in. Like we said, where our live streams are. And thank you so much every day, as you do. If we can just get the technology to behave itself. All right, here we go. A very good morning to you. And as usual, as you tune in today, we're glad that you can do that from whatever part of the world you're doing so from. The Situation Room tuned is Laban Motaroki. Good morning to you. Robert Mbogo is tuning from Mombasa and says, happy Friday. Well, we pray for that. Peter Chiari says, good morning from Mombasa. Proverbs 22:6, he says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Okay. Is there a lesson in this? Is there something that you're pointing us to, I guess is the question, Chiari. Good morning to you either way. Leo says, hello, Princess Nduana Seto. The motherland mourns again as disregard for safety of kids in dorms reigns supreme. The administration of the day follow the same stern, wary script as usual. Nick Bala says, we've had school dormitory fires before and recommendations made to ensure students' safety. We've had this. It has happened before. Why don't stakeholders implement the measures to curtail these painful deaths? And I think this is some of the things that we'll be talking about. And just from the thing that you don't want parents to come and see the dorms because, like you're saying, they're in dilapidable state. So is that the case? Dilapidated or what? Or they're crowded, and you know that in case of a fire, it will be disastrous? Or what?
Imagine walking into a dormitory. You expect that it's a double-decker, then you find it's a triple-decker. Now think of a grade 10 on top of that decker. There is fire. How do they start running away? It's the little things.
It's the little things, I'm telling you. It's the little things that we ignore over and over again that turn out to be the big tragedies.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do this really quickly. A story of a gentleman, not even a story. I watched a documentary about a guy. His day job in I think it's Bulgaria. Is to go into this factory and switch to flip a switch. When he gets in at 8, maybe somebody's done it before, to flip a switch and then to ensure that the action has begun, and then he leaves. He comes back 4 hours later because by then the switch would have flipped off automatically. But then he must go back after 4 hours and put it on again and make sure that the thing is running. And then he must go back 4 hours after that and do it and then fill in a form to ensure that he has done it for the day. That's his job. This is what he does. Now, the documentary was explaining, in the event that he doesn't do that and log so that you can trace who did it, the effects would be disastrous in terms of what would happen in that factory. So it's mundane. It's silly. You ask yourself, what on earth am I doing going into this place? That's my job. Then I log it. In the event that you don't do that, the effects would be disastrous. You would have chemical explosions, all kinds of things could possibly happen as a result of that. What am I saying? The devil is usually in the details. And you would be surprised that in these tragedies that we see, it is the details that we overlook that now are causing this disaster, that we're all heavy of heart and full of tears. Boba Koko says, good morning, Team Spice. Listening from Kendu Bay. Indeed, it's a sad day today, and we pray for divine visitation and healing to the families who have lost their loved ones. Rogers Nyange says, good morning from Birikani Voi. Indeed, amen to that prayer, Bob. Tula Omar says, good morning from Nairobi, Kenya. Depressing night yesterday. Indeed, it was. Leo says, we are a sick nation that has lost its humanity long ago. If a politician can take advantage of parents' grief to further their agenda, we're all Endarasha kids accounted for. That's another, like we brought it up this morning. There it is.
Yeah.
JB Mutua says, good morning and happy Friday from New Jersey. It's really sad we keep losing lives, but we do nothing about it. What's a Kenyan life worth? May God intervene for us, Eric Tunui says. Paul Esana to all the families affected.
Mm-hmm.
Vintage Oaks says, good morning, Ndu, it's Dennis. All set, Spice people, set for the show. Jennifer Tenny says, good morning, my most favorite duo, Siniwa Mewa Miss. Tumekumispia, Jennifer. Where have you been?
Mm-hmm.
Sasa, when you come and you say hi, unasema, I was here and here and here, but then I'm back. But we're happy to have you. My deepest condolences to the Utumishi Academy family, indeed. Rose Grace, tuned from Manera. Good morning, Nduana Seto. Good morning to you, Rose. Lovely to have you here. Wanda says, good morning, Nduana Seto from Toronto. No Joe today? No Joe today. The news is very heavy as we approach the year half point. I hope the second half of 2026 gives us some reprieve. Also, Aseto, I like your sweater.
Thank you.
Lovely print, indeed. Yikes. David Mangera says, good morning. Not a good morning. Kids dying in a dormitory accidents, Ebola threats. Sincere condolences to the families affected and quick recovery to the injured, indeed. Mtula says, we take disaster management as a joke in this country. Yes, we do. We do. We do. Christina says, good morning. Let's continue to pray for students and parents from Utumishi. In February, Chakol Girls Secondary School had caught fire, but we were lucky our children weren't in the dormitory. It was during lunchtime. We thank God for that.
Yeah.
Hey, Baba Koko says the late President Moi, may he soul rest in peace, would make his presence felt in the scene of tragedy and condole with the people. Oh, okay. Samuel Bisimwa says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. Edwin says most schools don't want parents to access where their children sleep, and I think this should change. Mm-hmm. Kimiak says Kenya One spoke for close to 30 minutes during prayer breakfast and never spent 1 minute to stand with Utumishi family. The advisors, nothing good will come out of this Kenya Kwanzaa regime. Yay! Tula says, we love reports and task forces as a country where there's about to be another one.
Yeah.
Kuala Lumpur is where Samuel is tuned in this morning. Okay, great to have you. Mtuflani says, good morning. Condolences to the bereaved. Our government is a negligent parent and we have been on our own for a while now. A settlement of fire escape? Yeah, probably fire escape, yeah. Caroline Yambura says, good morning. Nawapenda sana. Wishing you a blessed day ahead. And good morning to you too. Lovely to have you in the room. Alex Gioko says, good morning. Nduan Dennis Kitale is tuned in. Karibu sana. Karanja says, TGIF, it's very sad to lose young lives because of ineptness by enforcement officers. I think all the metal grills installed on dormitory windows should be removed as a low-cost start to fire safety. Agreed, 100%.
True.
Because you can imagine if a window is an escape route and then that grill is there, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? And they talk about it being security. Okay, I get it, but how about patrols instead of grills?
You know, you look at even the standard, even if you look at houses in other democracies, in the US, you'll never see even a house with grills.
There's a reason.
Because it's a safety hazard.
Yikes. Gosh, it's heavier and heavier, isn't it? Kimiak says the prayer breakfast meant for forgiveness and reconciliation was full of giving the regime a scorecard. And what if we actually prayed? I'm telling you, what if my people prayed? It's actually a verse in the Bible. What if we actually prayed? I'm telling you what we would actually receive. It's unbelievable. Isaac Ale says, only in Kenya can a school burn, a prayer breakfast trend, and an Ebola quarantine center quietly appear in the same week. Like the government is auditioning for the book of Revelation. My brother. That's what it looks like, isn't it? Tips Moga says, good morning, Spice FM team. Young Jedi says, hello, Team Spice. I hope you're all doing well despite everything. Locked in, ready to end the week. Indeed. Young Jedi also says, KPMDU says, Kenya is not America's high hazard dumping ground in bold letters. I agree. They did come out very firm yesterday from the Secretary General. Then immediately pivot to, but if you build it anyway, make sure Kenyan doctors get the jobs and hazard pay. I know. We start with that and look at what we end with. And it was just as bold, was it not?
Yeah.
Drift sessions, police with batons in a school engulfed by tragedy. To calm grieving parents, riddle me this. Are we sane?
No, you're not.
I don't know, man. Let them mourn their children. Let them go crazy if they need to. Because it's crazy, this situation. Uncle Gitu says, I'm petty. The Americans can go to Israel for all I care. Kenyans first. Kenya is no dump site. Uncle says, today I'm petty. And it's okay. Be petty, Betty. It's fine. Chamgei, John Limo, greetings from Nakuru. Good morning to you. Mark Wangi says, did you hear Dr. Muhisa about English teachers' job opportunities by foreign government were 95% awarded to one community? I don't know, man. Ivan Amos says, good morning and happy Friday from Mbakasi. We pray that God intervenes in our situation. Indeed. Bwangi Juma says, hi, Spice. Imagine leaders were celebrating at a hotel, praying, by taxpayers' money, and the families at Gilgil were all over asking what happened to our girls. Prayer, breakfast, an emergency, or public? Karen Jogona says, good morning, Spice family. Good morning to you. Nancy Abura says, good morning, Ndona Seto. It's so heartbreaking for the families that lost a parent who was rushing to see the state of their daughter. I'm telling you, I mean, God, how much can we take in that case? But, you know, the thing is that His grace is sufficient. Peace Thomas says, good morning, my people. Did you see the police parading all sorts of emergency vehicles and ambulances? What a mockery to us. Daughter of Africa, so sad that we've cheapened life. Children are a legacy, for heaven's sake.
True.
Indeed. Nernst Kirika says, I studied at Utumishi Boys Academy and I'm deeply surprised by the level of negligence as well as the apparent lack of training and awareness regarding what happened at our sister school. We're going to be talking about this thing because I think, you know what? We can and we should discuss the matters surrounding this. It's never too soon because we can talk about it and say we need to put it in your face. These things that people, the fire, the embers will burn and they will die down. The heat will disappear. The places will be cleaned up, but the lives will not come back. And those details that we want to say we can overlook, we cannot.
We cannot. You know, there's a question that I was asked yesterday by one of the panelists that I had, and when you think of Utumishi girls or Utumishi schools, where are they located? Mm-hmm. They are surrounded by a military facility, by an AP line. Okay. Pretty much a majority of students who go to these schools are children of officers most of the time. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if these are institutions that are surrounded by security installations where response would be fast and quick to addressing that problem, if this is what we see, then what happens to that school that is in the far-flung area that is removed from all these installations?
God forbid.
Think about it. Then ask yourself, just how safe is my child where they are if this can happen in an institution that is next to all these facilities we're talking about?
I can't deal with that kind of thing. Because with the last comment that we're going to take is from Foundation with Nema, and she says, did you know that the last fire that highlighted for closure of schools not compliant to requirements are still operating with no changes? Yeah. Why? Corruption exchanged hands. Our children are not safe. Eric Awar says, good morning, guys. Good morning, Eric. And thank you for bringing in it. This is the conversation that we are going to have at 7 o'clock today. Task forces, committees, people, chairman, whatever. What have you actually done? What have you done? If there are schools that are not compliant with safety standards, shut it down. I don't care.
True.
Shut it down. And this is me already getting angry, and it's not even 7 o'clock. Okay, let's take a quick break so they can calm down a little bit. And we'll look at weather and traffic, and we'll come back and look into the headlines. Okay.
True.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. The only way to start your day.
And in the background, there are bodies that are being removed of a child that you sent to school. And for me, here is that the severity of this situation could have been reduced significantly. Utumishi disaster is covered on page 2 and 3 of the Standard. Why you should brace for more school fires under State Watch. Why? If you look at the history, because we know we know that there are different factors surrounding all of this. What we don't know right now is the cause of this fire. We don't know. We don't know whether it was arson. We don't know whether there was an electrical fault. We cannot say that 1 + 1 = 2 in this case until there is a direct answer. Was there a wiring issue? Did somebody actually set fire somewhere? What happened? Because we do not know that, we cannot then say that this is the reason for the fire in this school.
True.
Now, do we know that previously, like the famous Changuli High School, that there was somebody who set the fire? Yes. Have there been schools where they have set fire because they said we needed a break, we needed to get out? That has happened. In this case, can we draw that? We cannot, because we do not know yet. School unrest, however, is an issue. Did somebody say something? Did somebody want to go home? Were they feeling pressure from mocks? All of these things are drawn into the conversation. But there's one thing that we can say. Regardless of the cause of this fire, there are certain things we already know. Number one, there are grills on the windows, so there's not an easy escape. Do they have a fire policy? That, again, we don't know. When is the last time, Dennis, a fantastic question, that a fire drill was done in your high schools in the country? When this school is surrounded by garrisons, 2 hours of a burning fire, the first responders would have been the folks who are surrounding the school anyway. That doors have locks on the outside of dorms. What do you think these children are going to do? Escape from the dorm and go where? On the outside. The locks are on the outside. Why? Already we're hearing, look, there are many things that are going to come up in our 7 o'clock conversation. So the question now that abounds is, if you cannot guarantee the safety of children who are in boarding school because of the things that we see happening too much, is it time for you to say then don't have the boarding schools? Or is that too extreme? Let's talk. The country grieves as 16 students die in dorm fire. And there's that gentleman that you spoke of. Akin to the days where in the Bible, the Old Testament, people would strip out of grief because, my God, my child is no more. Recurring dorm fires reveals years of safety failures. That's the story on page 4. Same script, ignored school safety manual. There is a manual. People sat down, put it together, that every school is supposed to comply to. Who is complying? We're not asking questions with emotion.
No.
We're asking questions based in fact. That somebody came up with a manual and said, if you're going to do 1, 2, 3, you must do 4, 5, 6. Why is it not happening? Now, as though we don't have enough to deal with there, Ruto-Ebola deal grows. The Trump-Ruto-Ebola deal grows. Opposition to that actually is what is growing. And like we said, Katiba Institute has taken a petition to the court under a certificate of urgency to say this thing has got to be stopped. Let's see. As the U.S. seeks to set up a quarantine center in Kenya, it stressed that Ebola will not spill over into its territory. As in, we don't want it, you can have it. The sentiments have sparked uproar among Kenyans, leaders, legal and medical experts who ask why the facility should be established in the country. Now, it's just for purposes of clarity, by the way. These people are not coming from America.
No.
It is the people who are in countries that are affected. The Americans in those countries that are affected, they're saying, just contain it over there. Don't come over here. Capish?
Capish.
Ruto, the president, William Ruto, has said, I will accept the outcome of the 2027 election.
Can I respond? Do you have any other option? No, you don't. The laws, the Constitution orders you to respect the results.
He said, and he looked, I don't know if it's a script, but he looked rather forlorn at some point, and he was saying, you know what, everybody's just talking about the election. You guys are just making noise all over the place. So you relax, Bala. That it's going to be a free and fair election. It's going to be something else that he said, I can't remember. But he said, the thing that I remember, he said, it's going to be a free and fair election. If I win, so be it. If I don't, so be it too. So everybody should just be coming down. Escalating factional rivalries cast shadow over ODM's future. Let me tell you, folks, when there's a crack in the wall and you decide that you're not going to deal with the crack, what's going to happen? And the walls came tumbling down. That's all I'm saying. Lusaka, there's room to improve devolution. Really? In case you're wondering, Ken Lusaka is the governor of Bungoma County. And he said, you know, we've done a good job so far, so good, but we can actually do better. That's what I say, do better. Peter Kimani, you got to love his columns. He says it's a parable of Kenya as a pit latrine that cannot refuse USA dysentery. Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like. Mushiri Karaja, also in the opinions this morning, says the president has himself to blame for appearing exhausted lately. Take a load off, man.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Chill, relax.
Relax.
The body needs rest, man.
To know.
Yeah.
Like we say in Nigeria, body not be firewood. You have to bend it every now and then.
Yeah. The president needs to just do that thing that you call
R&R.
Yeah. Or just devolve these issues. Let
Delegate responsibility.
ministers to do their job. You know.
Aviation industry players have also come into the conversation, and they're saying that the finance bill will hit the sector hard, and this is what they're warning the players in the aviation industry about. Everybody's talking about their profits for the year and how life is going to be good. La di da. So that's what it looks like when you look into the business standard this morning, and we know that. Even as we get into the weekend, there's going to be quite a lot of sporting activity, as it usually is. I mean, that happens through the week anyway. I mean, and even as we cover some of these things, the Champions League is coming up, guys. Some people are hoping that they win that one too.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Do you know
30th, yeah.
30th,
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. Do you know World Cup is next week?
17th of June. The World Cup, yep.
What happened?
What do you mean?
The Juge
It's
and everything
2026
about
now.
it.
It's 2026. Yeah. Canada, North America, and
Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how this World Cup will turn out.
It'll be fun.
Based off information that you get, especially from the sports pundits, is many people are just not buying tickets because of immigration rules that is there.
Yeah, no.
Also,
It is the greatest event on the planet. By the way, if anybody was wondering, asking what the greatest event the biggest event on the planet, it actually is the FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
But now if you have a situation where your beloved America, you don't want to give people visa for this thing, how do you want people to go?
Yeah.
Now, you have to ask yourself, how are you going to fill the stands if you're not giving people visas to come? Ask yourself the question.
True.
This is where government and then those other institutions come to play. You want to look at the Nairobian?
Real quick, yeah.
All right.
So Nairobi, let's look at the headlines here. So we have the untouchables, Ntutu's dynasty of land, power and politics. So we talk about from the chiefs to governors. Their influence stretches from conservancies to parliament, from county tenders to clan politics. For decades, the Ntutu family has stood at the center of Narok's power structure. But as the battle for the county's future intensifies, the dynasty is facing growing scrutiny over its grip on land, politics and influence. You thought dynasties is just what was there during the 2022 elections. There is dynasty politics in Narok County. So Ojenda's law firm to pay lawyer 1 million shillings in used condom and alcohol claim case. That is based off a defamation suit, which you'll find it on page 6. And blood on our hands, sad tale of Kenya's unthinkable child murder crisis. That is on page 14. This week we have been also making noise and just calling the duty bearers to give us reports on, and explanation on the missing children in the country and where exactly we are with that. Unfortunately, that you're from one issue surrounding children to another one of fire again surrounding children. Just where exactly our priorities when it comes to the children of the country, our children, pretty much. From fake noise to machines, 10 types of Arsenal funds after EPL. And one thing you must accept is Arsenal fans have been quiet for a very long time. Right now,
so now that you want to make noise to compensate for the last 22 years.
Let us just make noise. 22 years has been a long time. Yeah, but now there's a story here, or a picture where a cow is actually getting out of a Noah. Noah is a van. DCI detectives intercepted a vehicle carrying 3 suspected stolen cattle in Elgon View, Eldoret. Oh my God, that's my neck of the woods where I was raised.
Apple, you guys are doing some magic.
Wezi Wangombe walipatikana huko. And we have on page 3, it's about sisterhood, and the ladies are looking mighty beautiful in their dresses, and the women dazzled in elegant ensembles at the What Women Want Summit. held in Nairobi. So yes, women looking nice. On page 4 and 5 is that story of the Ntutu family and the dynasty control that they do have, dynastic control that they do have. Anita Kendi, Murungi's death and the moments that stilled Meru noisy politics. So Kiraitu Murungi's daughter was pursuing medicine at the University of Central Lancashire in Preston, England. So the family lost their daughter. And we saw the father pretty much just going through a difficult time of burying your own child. So yeah, there's that as well on page 7. On page 8, Kasarani man denies the act of sexual cruelty and death threats. The woman said her lover threatened to kill her and throw her body in trench in the neighborhood. In the middle of the night, he allegedly grabbed a kitchen knife and threatened to kill her. This is where Kama Haiwak walk out. It is never, ever difficult to say, this is not working out, and respectfully, I choose to stay away.
Yeah.
You know,
just walk away.
Just walk away. Just
Yeah.
walk away. Now, ex-MP's son murder probe deepens amid staff mystery. So, Hannington Were is the son of former Matungu MP David Were, who was attacked and killed by unknown assailants on Sunday. So, based off earlier reports was that this man was hit by a blunt object, but the autopsy result indicate that he was actually stabbed, I think, enough times from the back that pierced his lungs and he died. So, you look at initial reports vis-a-vis the forensic report, and they do not match. So who exactly wanted this man dead? Those are the stories that we have on the Nairobi, and we could look at one story on the Standard.
Okay, so I'm going to do this from the Indarasha stories here because there are quite a number of them. And this one on page 2 caught my attention because why should we brace? Well, this is what the story says. Some reports date back to 1994 with recommendations on school unrest and arson. However, successive administrations have allowed the proposals collect dust on shelves. Failure to implement multiple government reports on school fires and unrest is to blame for more lives being lost in schools. And more lives could be lost if top ministry officials and the country's leadership continue playing hide-and-seek games. The government is yet to fully implement recommendations of its own reports, some put forward by special investigations teams on school unrests. The reports date back to 1994, including the government-appointed Kirima Task Force, which studied student strikes and arson in schools. In 2001, the government appointed another team, the Task Force on Student Discipline and Unrest in Secondary Schools, whose verdict mirrored findings of the Kirima team. And in 2016, the government appointed the Claire Omolo Task Force, which restated the recommendations of the last two teams in detail. Are you understanding?
Yeah.
Another task force came in, recommended the previous one. The previous one had recommended the one before that.
So basically,
2016 came, recommended the last two.
So basically, the very first task force gave us the solution that would be implemented throughout these other task forces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we implemented it?
No.
So, many years later, a spot check across schools reveals sheer negligence of the set regulations as laid standards of student safety are grossly breached. Other reports are the Naomi Wangai report of 2001 and the David Coet report of 2008. An analysis of these education reports on student unrest reveals several recommendations have been fronted to contain the growing menace. The most recent findings are contained in the 2016 Task Force report chaired by Claire Omolo, which laid bare causes of school fires, especially during the second term, which is where we are now. In the Omolo report, the team recommended that all boarding schools must meet prescribed standards as set by the ministry before they are registered and students admitted. Before. What borders impunity is that the recommendations of another government document titled Safety Standards Manuals for Schools, released in 2008, also remains largely on paper. In all the reports, streamlining boarding schools and establishing functional guidance and counseling departments in schools were key. Increased involvement of student leaders in decision-making, reducing tests ahead of national examinations, and training members of school boards on education management was also highlighted. Other proposals made in the reports were suggested review of the curriculum to introduce lower secondary and reducing the number of boarding schools. Years on, School unrest debate remains a topic discussed in hushed tones in staff rooms and even in ministry offices. School heads are also on the spot for failing to implement directives issued by the Teacher Service Commission to enhance student safety and improve vigilance. The Omolo report unearthed major administrative flaws in schools and existence of backward criminal practices and punishable oversights that sparked off student unrest in schools. So what does that last line tell you? That it is not just the students who say kuna weevils kwa maharagwe or tuna wanaweka kerosene kwa chakula. No. It's beyond tunapigwa sana. What have you been told here? That sometimes teachers will collude and say, you guys, amjachoka, amtaki kwenda nyumbani, start something. What have we said here? Punishable oversights that spark off students' unrest in school, existence of backward criminal practices, and punishable oversights that spark off students' unrest in schools. When you have such a heavy indictment that is to be sorted out by a commission, and then the commission does its work, it gives you a report, why is it collecting dust on a shelf somewhere? To me, it is crazy that in 2026, 10 years after this Omolo report, the things that they said in that report are not to be implemented. Mind you, this was an amalgamation of the previous reports that were done. Davy Koech, 2008. Kirima 2 in 2004, before Kirima 1. So, it bust my brain. I don't...
Remember, the report that dates back to 1994 goes back to the first incident that happened in 1991. So from 1994 to 2026, we've not done anything to change the story. Where is the ministry? We asked about quality checks. We have quality checks on paper. Do you think even these principals know?
What are you talking about? Did you not hear what this thing said? Before students are admitted, before those schools are even registered, there is a standard of quality that they must have met. Who is the person that assured that this quality of standard had been met? See, we're talking about this thing at 7. Gear up, guys. Good morning, 7 a.m.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.